Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade, and I'm here to basically, I don't know, try to pep things up. Look at things from maybe a nicer perspective. So, while the presidency is still in limbo, it's not without hope. There seems to be a path to victory through Arizona and Pennsylvania, and I'm pretty hopeful. I can see Arizona flipping. I understand where it can happen. It makes sense to me. And then I can see us holding on to Pennsylvania, unlike what happened in Wisconsin and Michigan, because at this point we have a legal ground game in Pennsylvania. We've got Rudy Giuliani and his army of lawyers there, making sure the Democrats don't pull the same shit they pulled in Wisconsin and Michigan in Pennsylvania. I mean, yes, they've pulled plenty of the shit already before Giuliani and the army of lawyers got there. I'm sure of that, but it wasn't before it got out of hand. It wasn't before they ran through that knockout blow. You know, that 4 o'clock 169,000 absentee ballots from Milwaukee that came out of nowhere, and then shortly afterwards, oh, we don't have any more votes to count. Or the two separate batches of absentee ballots that came in from Wayne County, and then Michigan's like, oh yeah, we're out of things to count here too, you know, just in time to just narrowly flip the election in both places. Shady, obviously. I don't buy it, but again, I didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to focus on the good things, and that is we've picked up House seats. We didn't lose House seats. We gained House seats. Several House seats. That's a plus, right? So even if the worst happens, even if we do end up with a Biden presidency, it could be entertaining, if anything. I can just see the pools at your local pub predicting how many months it's going to take before Joe Biden is removed from office, for instance. That could certainly be entertaining. And then Kamala getting sworn in and having to deal with a Republican Senate and a balanced House that could possibly even win the majority this year. It's not beyond the realm of reason. But if anything, it'll at least be a balanced House. If the Democrats still hold on to a majority, it's not going to be by the lopsided majority that they had. It'll be, you know, the type of majority that doesn't get you a whole lot of power, right? You know, if you're 2 votes up in the House, that's not really a big deal. So there's no way the Democrats can push through their evil agenda of change at this point. If anything, we have stopped that from happening. We have protected American values for at least another 4 years, and that's something that we can at least take some solace in and be happy about. So at the very least, we can be happy about that. However, I don't think it's all doom and gloom yet. You know, we have the 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. Trump is going to use that. It's obvious that Pennsylvania is doing shady election shenanigans that need to be fixed, right? You can't have unsigned ballots. That's not right. I mean, common sense says you should at least have to sign your ballot. You should at least have to verify the signature of the ballot, for instance, like most states. Common sense says that if the polls close, then you need to stop voting. You need to stop accepting votes. You can't continue to keep voting not 1, 2, 3, or 4 days afterwards. It's it's not right. So I think the Supreme Court is going to remedy a lot of those problems in Pennsylvania, and that'll be a good thing. I think Rudy Giuliani being there with his army of lawyers in Pennsylvania Trump will hold on to the lead there, and with the combination of Arizona, Trump will be president yet again. I think that's actually a far more plausible scenario than Biden having cheated his way to victory via Wisconsin and Michigan. However, I do kind of want to talk about Wisconsin. So, Wisconsin is my home state, where I'm originally from. I know Wisconsin like the back of my hand. I know the people in Wisconsin like the back of my hand, and I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around Wisconsin. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. So Wisconsin is an interesting state. If you've never been to Wisconsin, it's one of the friendliest states in the union. Everyone in Wisconsin is incredibly friendly. In fact, we have a very large tourist industry where people come up to the Northwoods to hunt, fish. We have a large amount of camping facilities and taverns and restaurants and jobs that revolve around tourism. And so people like to come up to the Northwoods to get into the relaxing setting of the Northwoods, where you can go fishing on the lake and be around nice people. I mean, like I said, Wisconsiners are nice people. It's an interesting land, right? It's a land where you have a dying middle class. If you're a native Wisconsinner, you will understand that property taxes have kind of killed most people in Wisconsin. It's very common to you get born, you're born in Wisconsin, you have your family, your parents pass on, you inherit the local 40, for instance. I'm talking about my dad's generation at this point. They inherited the local 40. Local 40 came with such overwhelming property tax that local 40 then became a local, 35 acres of land or 30 acres of land or whatever. Just, they would have to sell part of the family estate, if you will, to pay for the estate tax, for the property tax, for this and for that. So, one would think that having an inheritance where you get a nice chunk of land in the Northwoods would be this big boon, but in a lot of ways, it's like having a shackle tied around your legs. You're living in a land where you've got a dying agricultural industry. Not that agriculture was ever the most lucrative industry in the first place. You're living in a land where people are making a lot of money off of sweat of their brow, doing things like cutting pulp, or seasonally making wreaths and cutting boughs. There's some people that survive in the Northwoods off of 3 or 4 hard months of work where they get a big shot to their income stream, and then they go back to working their factory job for the rest of the year. So Wisconsiners live in an interesting place where things are a bit different than the rest of the country. I don't know how to describe it other than that, but if anything, everyone's friendly and everyone understands each other's plights, and people work together, people come together, people talk, people communicate, and even people that live in like Milwaukee and Appleton and Oshkosh, they still tend to have roots in rural Wisconsin. There are so many families that are cross the suburban and cross the city divide. So many people live in Milwaukee and spend, their weekends up north. They get out of the big city whenever they can because they hate it there. So it's not your normal voting district where you have this giant population of blue people who are living off of food stamps and government subsidies. That's not to say that there isn't food stamps and government subsidies in Wisconsin in general. There is, but by and large, most people in Wisconsin are proud and they don't want to have to use those things. They would far prefer a Trump economy where their sweat and hard work will allow them to not have to use those things. That's how people in Wisconsin think. And knowing Wisconsin the way I do, everything about this vote is wrong. Trump is the person who gives the most opportunity to the majority of Wisconsin. It's clear and it's obvious, and it doesn't make sense that record voting in Wisconsin would be against Trump. About the only group in Wisconsin that you can really think of that could be really majorly anti-Trump is typically the children, the young, the people who have just gotten done with their indoctrination in college. So I'm talking like the 18 to 23, 24-year-olds that just got out of the various different college structures like the University of Eau Claire or UW-Madison or Stout or any of these breeding grounds where they fester this concept that America's bad, right? America is this horrible place with this patriarchy and this oppressive white class and blah 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 blah. Wisconsin people, by and large, in general, they don't believe that shit. They're patriots through and through. Most people in Wisconsin have an American flag in their yard. It's their former military. It doesn't make sense, this election. I'm never gonna believe it. I'm just never gonna buy this. I'm hoping that when the recount happens, that we will have one Republican challenger and one Democrat challenger for every single poll worker, and every single ballot will be gone over with a fine-tooth comb to verify that vote signature matches, that person's still alive, that they're actually a resident, that they're actually a citizen of the United States, the whole song and dance, so that we can be sure of our election integrity process. If that type of election happens, where they sift through every single vote, and no mysterious batch of 169,000 absentee ballots come in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. and somehow manage to all get processed within like 15 minutes time. Huh? Really? And they all go for one party. What? Milwaukee, I can understand, could swing Democrat. Sure, I can buy that. But completely Democrat? No. The, Milwaukee is not that type of city. It's not blinded by stupidity. There are so many people, as I said, that aren't tied to the whole city life. They use the town of Milwaukee or the cities of Milwaukee or whatnot to promote their rural lifestyle. So they will spend the weekends up north. They will spend the summers camping, or they'll visit their family, but they get out of the big city as often as they can because it sucks there. And they have good old-fashioned patriotic values. They don't hate our country. So yeah, again, I don't buy this Wisconsin election at all. It makes no flippin' sense. But that's just me. Anyway, I've kind of gotten off topic on this video. I kind of wanted just basically to gloss over the good things that happened in this election. The fact that we have picked up seats in the House. The fact that we haven't lost the Senate majority. The fact that, even if we do lose the presidency, the Dems are not going to be able to go through with their agenda of packing the court, adding new states, adding new senators. All this fanatical change they were promising us is off the table at this point. And we can be safe that they can't destroy our country at the very least. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade. Hopefully you're enjoying my content. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all, peace.